Hey, what's up everyone? My name's Walter, and we're back here to talk about neckbeards again. Neckbeard is the style of facial hair used by insufferable nerds the world over. However, it's the beard on the inside that counts. These guys like to don the fedora, they like to complain about the friend zone, and they like to talk down to everyone. But you'll see that, so let's just begin with more neckbeards from Reddit. Yes, we're already back again, and this story comes to us from Reddit Tales of Neckbeards, the other neckbeard story subreddit. The time I unknowingly befriended a creepy neckbeard. Now a little housekeeping here before I start. I am in 10th grade, and I am a member of a high school robotics team. This story involves the girls on the team, specifically my friend, who is a girl in 11th grade who I will call Sky. The neckbeard is a senior. I will simply refer to him as Beard. Wait, a robotics team? Kids have all the cool shit nowadays. What I actually witnessed starts back when I was a freshman. Beard was a junior, and Sky was a sophomore. I had just joined my school's robotics team. But the funny thing was that Neckbeard was actually a serial neckbearder to literally every single female on the fucking team, and every female who was on the team in the past 2 years. Because, like I said, I'm only a sophomore and he's a senior at time of writing this, I've only witnessed his time in the team for 2 years. My older friends on the team have told me that this main has literally been hitting on every single girl who ever existed on the team with him. But back onto the story though, I was not aware of all this shit going on with him and females. And he presented himself as a nice person to talk to. That is the age-old trap, isn't it? I actually wasn't sure if he actually fit the description of a neckbeard entirely. He was a tall, skinny Indian who always wore long khaki pants, whatever the weather, and a t-shirt that usually was of some anime or game I didn't know or care to know. He was known in the grade for being weird and annoying. Actually, funny enough, being bullied by my brother way back in elementary school. But again, he seemed alright to me. He was more of a neckbeard the second you place a female in the same room as him. Yes, the author should probably stop using the word female like that. It started with little shit that I picked up early on. He'd go out of his way to help the girls specifically with tasks that involve heavy lifting, even when they don't need the help. If someone was carrying a heavy box of robot shit, he'd say some shit like, "Let a strong man get that for you." Or, "A lady like you shouldn't be carrying all that weight by yourself." And other than cringe at shit like that, I thought nothing of it. Just a cringy guy trying to be funny, I thought. Then I noticed that he would always compliment any girl who was wearing anything that was somewhat revealing. He'd stare from the second she'd walk in and then say, "Nice outfit," or, "I don't know what it is, but you look really good today," followed up by an awkward response from her saying, "Thank you?" in more of a question than a genuine thank you. Which then got me thinking that he's a little weirder than I previously thought. But I still continued talking to him. I didn't really know how to not still be nice to him. I'm just not that kind of person. But then shit really started clicking for me when we were working on the robot at his house. The whole team was there doing their shit. I was doing whatever mechanical work I was doing when I noticed Neckbeard gazing at a girl on the team who was standing up, facing away from us. Neckbeard then leaned over to me and said, "Isn't she so hot?" Not really knowing how to respond because he asked me out of nowhere and he said it louder than he should have. I'm actually fucking surprised the girl didn't hear his loud ass. I responded saying, "I mean, she isn't that bad." He cuts me off and continues saying some shit along the lines of, "She's literally so hot and she doesn't even try to be. She's just naturally sexy. All the girls on this team are so hot, but they don't want me. It's such a tease." I just dismissed the conversation by saying okay or something insignificant like that. At this point, I am kind of uncomfortable about him around women. I realize that it's not creepy to simply admire a woman, but when you put what he said in the context of what I was seeing, it left a bad taste in my mouth. But it didn't end there. The neckbeard was in the programming department of our team. The leader of that department was Sky, and he would call her over when he was having trouble and look weirdly at her when she bent down to help him on the computer. He'd also be weird when he was helping other girls in programming, hunching over them and speaking to them in a weirdly soft voice. For the rest of that year, my freshman year, Neckbeard would continue with the weird actions. And close to the end of that year, I started to pick up on the fact that all the girls were freaked out by him. And in the summer between my freshman and sophomore year, Sky would actually tell me about how Neckbeard actually asked her out, even though she already has a boyfriend. She said that they were both in a break period together. She was doing some math when he came up to her, and this is no fucking lie. This is exactly what Sky told me about how Neckbeard asked her out. This main said, "Hey Sky, I have something that I've been meaning to tell you for a while." "What is it?" "It's really embarrassing. Could you please guess?" "What? Guess what?" Side note, at this point she knew that Neckbeard was going to ask her out, but she didn't say that because it would be pretty awkward, especially if she misunderstood. Please, guess, it's really embarrassing for me. Bro, if you don't spit it out, I'm just gonna ignore you. Okay, fine. I love you, and I have loved you ever since I met you on the team. I have a boyfriend, and I don't like you like that. But you mean so much to me, and we've had such great times together. I'm a very nice person. Okay, and I like you just as a friend. Just because you were fun to hang around with doesn't mean I want to date you. Plus, like I said, I have a boyfriend. Oh, okay. So even after this, Neckbeard kept staring at her every meet, and complimenting her at every chance, as if being nice would increase his chances of getting her. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. I soon learned that summer, as I continued to build closer relationships with my fellow teammates, that every girl on the team had a horror story that involves Neckbeard. Fast forward to the next school year, which is this current 2019 to 2020 year. Neckbeard is a senior and I'm a sophomore. This new year meant a new robotics season. At the start of each season, we bring in new people from the freshman class, which also meant more girls for Neckbeard. We were worried that Neckbeard would scare off the freshmen from the team and make them quit. God, I feel like seniors probably shouldn't be creeping on the freshmen. I know, nobody should be creeping on anyone, got it, but you know what I mean. A senior can be 18 and a freshman can be 14 at the same time. I wouldn't know, I didn't finish my senior year. That's something I have in common with the class of 2020, am I right? We added 3 more girls to the team, 2 of which were in programming, the department that Neckbeard is in. Off the jump, this main was creeping to them. On the first day, he was greeting them and starting up with the compliments. You look really nice, and helping them on their code with his bend over and get really close to them tactic. Man, I'm lost here. How does this guy manage to give girls he doesn't even know random compliments, but he can't ask out a girl he's known for years because it's too embarrassing? I know, how many times did you purposely ask out a girl who had a boyfriend in high school? Hopefully not too many times. We started to actually intervene when it started to get physical. Neckbeard would go up to them while they were waiting for their rides at the end of the meeting, and before he'd get into his car and say, "Can I get a goodbye hug?" And when they said, "No, I'm not comfortable with that," he'd chase them, pretending it's a joke, and grab them until one of us had to break it up. "She said no, Neckbeard, now go to your car," I had to say once. The final act of his neckbeardery was while we were building a robot at another teammate's house. When he cracked a joke about this fat kid on the team, comparing the size of his tits to the size of a freshman on the team's. "Your tits are bigger than hers," he said. The mood of the room immediately dropped. The girl he was referring to was not in the room, but nobody laughed and you could tell everybody was weirded out. But guess what? My guy didn't take a hint from that reaction, as he literally goes over to the room that the freshman girl was in and repeated the joke to her. "His tits are even bigger than yours." He pointed at her chest while telling the joke. Everyone basically chimed in, saying, "Hey man, that's not okay, get away from her." Neckbeard did not say anything else that entire night. Someone told our team mentors. Our team is run by students, but has 2 teacher mentors, and all the boys had to be lectured about inappropriate actions from the mentor. Despite this, he continued being creepy up until now, and now it looks like he's going off to college, which is good and bad at the same time. It's good because he's gone, but it's bad because he got to go 4 years of targeting girls without being held accountable, really. I felt like I should have done more, but that's in the past now. I hope you enjoyed the story. I thought I never met a neckbeard before, but thought this would qualify as one. If it doesn't, then I hope it was a good story nonetheless. Though he's a neckbeard alright, but he's also one hell of a nice guy. Was really into those freshmen, wasn't he? It's not like confirmation that he likes them because of their age. It might be more because they're less likely to tell him off. I did like how he tried to make fun of that fat kid and ended up owning himself. That's always a good thing. Okay, I think I need to read a few posts, then we'll call it a day. Even though they got my last neckbeard video demonetized for hateful content. Posts are from Reddit, just neckbeard things. It's how it works though. When you ignore girls and start to not give a fuck, then they will come crawling to you because you gave them attention and then took it away, and a woman's drug is attention. You say this as if all humans don't crave attention. Don't assume you're so above it all. Sigh, okay simp. Oh, I'm sure you're drowning in pussy. Nope, I am not, but before quarantine I was starting to turn the corner, and for that exact reason. Like the other heavily downvoted person in this thread, I too got with one of the hottest women I've ever been with recently because I showed her attention and then took it away, and she was dripping wet for me. She seemed more interesting in talking to another guy, and I ignored her and started texting other girls, and she started to chase. Don't give these hoes attention. Every man who actually gets laid knows you have to treat women like dirt to get them to invest. Which after 29 years, was just beginning to internalize after years of being a sweet, attentive, caring guy. And let's make this clear, getting laid isn't convincing the girl in the Inuyasha t-shirt in your study group to go out with you 4 times before she gives you a hand job, so you make her your girlfriend and have vanilla sex for 5 years before she leaves you to go travel the world and get raw-dogged by a random guy she met in Vietnam. It's being the guy who can make a random woman on the street wet with just a look, which is something I can and have done. Yeah, this isn't something meaningless like a 5-year relationship. This is making random women on the street wet. Something that actually means something. Also, if you don't manipulate women, you're a simp according to this sex-having Redditor. I should mention that this was from the Rick and Morty subreddit. Okay, I'm going to read a post from Lucas Werner. If you find this interesting and don't know who he is, I'll link to my last video on him in the description if I remember. He's definitely a neckbeard, but it's a bit more complicated. Why do guys with credit cards and cars feel so entitled to girlfriends? Pretty sure most young adults supported #Bernie Sanders, who spoke out against worshipping money and against greed. Are you hooking me up? I want a girlfriend. She's got to be 18 to 24. I'm 40. Fertility. She's got to be pretty and nice to me. Oh, you're just going to be age-phobic? Bigotry is a slippery slope towards republicanism and having your rights removed as a woman. Are you hooking me up? Well, that's where me complaining about you ends. I have some money saved up, but I live at a homeless shelter. Are you hooking me up? #greed. Imagine being homeless and deciding your first priority wasn't a place to live, but a young girlfriend. Yep, that's where we're at. Anyway, that's about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you have something to say, let me know in the comments. I will see it, and we know how the algorithm likes engagement. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I'm nearing 10k subscribers. It's not the first time and probably not the last either, but I'll try to come up with some kind of special video. Gotta also thank my generous patrons. I'll be doing that by name again very soon here. But they're helping me out a whole lot because monetization is a total crapshoot for me. Alright, let me know if there's something you want me to cover specifically. I listen sometimes. Have a great day, everyone, and don't make women guess that you want to ask them out. What a bizarre thing that was.